Hi everyone, you are watching a whole new episode or listening to a whole new episode of Gracing Your Space. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so stoked. We have so much to cover. I'm just gonna get right into it. Life has been lifing so far this week. I can't even begin to describe how much I needed a fall reset because life has been so chaotic. I'm talking like I go to work. I only work 10 hours a week, but it's still a lot. Being a student, going to work, and I travel a half hour every day to get there and then a half hour back. So it's not like it's something that's super convenient. I used to work, believe it or not, like 5 minutes down the road from my house. And then on school, I used to work right across the street. So I literally have never had a commute that's been longer than maybe 15 minutes. And that's when I used to work at Joann's. Shout out Joann's, RIP. Y'all were great. So I really have never had to commute more than 15 minutes. And this is like a 35-40 minute commute. And I'm going into a pretty big city, and there's always a lot of traffic. But lately, like the grind of life has just been so much where I'm like, somehow that 20-30 minute drive, depending on how fast I go. Obviously, I'm going the speed limit. Let's be for real. Not breaking any rules. But like that 30-minute drive is like my me time where I get to like jam, listen to music, do my thing, because I just can't, like, I'm finding that there's few times during the day that are purely for me, right? Like, I feel that my life is constantly revolving around other people. That's not a bad thing. It's just that, like, we're constantly dealing with, oh my gosh, let me send this quick message to this person. Oh, this person needs this. Let me help them with that. Oh, you want me to volunteer for that? Sure. Oh, we want to hang out? Like, there are a few times during the day that are purely for myself. And that sense of burnout is becoming so real, especially as we're like halfway through the semester. I mean, I'm recording today and that's fall break, and it's one day. Like, that's actually crazy to me. And so like this feeling of, oh my, like every day I'm doing things for others, but what am I doing for myself has been really resonating with me, because we're in such a culture right now, a hustle culture of like blah blah blah, let's go, let's do this. What new thing can we do? Like, how can we do this, do that? And I'm like, what if we just slow down? Like, what if we just took a day and we're like, let's do nothing. Let's go and do passion projects. Let's do things that actually bring us joy. So my commute, I feel like I'm reclaiming this like sense of, what can I do for myself? Sure, I'm going to work and that, pays my bills, and I'm working for a nonprofit, so that helps other people, right? But if you can't show up for yourself, how can you show up for others? And I think that's been something I'm really realizing as I'm getting into this new chapter of life, where like I'm in the throes of the job search, and it's really fucking scary because I'll be honest, like I haven't heard from anyone or anything, except I had one interview, and it was honestly so embarrassing because I'm in this interview and it was like 10-minute Zoom. Like, it was a recruiter for this marketing company, and this guy was like, all right, I want 10 minutes just to talk to you, get to know who you are. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I love that. I'd love the chance to pitch myself. And in real time, I see him, he has printed out my resume, and I see him in real time skimming it and realizing I don't graduate until December. And it's like he instantly shuts down. He's like, oh, we're looking for an immediate opening. And I'm like, okay, like, can I still tell you about myself? I'd love to get the chance to pitch myself, tell you a little bit about who I am, all of that. And he's like, no, we're good. We're done. Like, that's everything I needed. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how it's gonna be, like, just giving me no shot. So it's really difficult to be like ending one chapter of the educational system is all I've ever known for the past, gosh, 16 years, 16 and a half years, which is really crazy to think about, right? Because I did K through 12, so that's 13 years. then 4 years of school. So we're actually looking at 17 and a half, almost 18 years of schooling. Like I've been alive for 23 years, and more than 3/4 of it has been in the educational system. So that like chapter closing plus like the job search, like I feel drained all the time because again, it's like this feeling of I'm scrambling, and I haven't had to experience that in a long time, of feeling like, oh my gosh, what's the next step? What's the next move? And then it feels like you're going through the motions, right? We're going to work, we're going to class, we're doing the job search, and suddenly it's, fall break, and I'm like, oh shit, like we're halfway through senior year. What have I done? Like, the amount of pressure we put on ourselves is crazy because it's week 8, and you know how many parties I've gone to? 2. Do you know how many nights out I've had with the girls? 1. Do you know how many people we've had over for wine night? 0. Like, that perspective, I need it to switch almost, because we're getting to that point where I if I'm so focused on the future, I forget to live in the moment, right? We forget to be like, oh shit, this is it. Like, this is senior year, make the most of it. And everyone always says, like, relax, it'll be fine, you'll figure it out, and enjoy the moment. And that's where I feel like I need to reclaim that. And so I'm starting to reclaim those moments of like, okay, be present, be with your people. The stuff in the future, post-graduation, you'll figure it out, right? Like, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna figure out what life will always continue to do life. And the people you're with, though, right now in this moment, you can't guarantee in 3 months from now they're gonna be the same, right? My best friend, she's thinking about moving to Pittsburgh, potentially, right? Me and my partner, we're thinking, oh, maybe Philadelphia, maybe greater Philly area. Like, the people you're with in this moment and in these years, you cannot guarantee in 3 months from now you're going to be with them. So that perspective change has been like so key for me right now. And it's been very grounding too, like to know that, okay, like everyone else is facing this too. And it's something we don't talk about enough. Like, people right now going through this life phase, it seems a lot of like, okay, just internalize it. Everyone else has gone through this, or everyone's going to go through this. It's fine. We'll figure it out. And I'm like, no, I want to talk about it, because I wouldn't say I'm struggling, but like the sense of identity is being lost almost. Of, again, we've been in this educational system for so long, and now who am I without it? Who am I when I don't go to class 2-3 times a week? Who am I when I now have a rigid 9 to 5? Like, this is such a formative experience, and it's transformational, but it's fucking scary. I'll tell you that. So yeah, that's why I've been leaning into these grounding exercises, and I'm encouraging others in my life to do that too, because like, if I can have an hour twice a week, right? I work 5 hours Mondays and Wednesdays. So I commute an hour in, a half hour in, half hour out, go to class Tuesday, Wednesday, half hour in, half hour out. So that's 2 hours a week. If I have 2 hours a week, which really is nothing, right? That's nothing in comparison to however many hours are in a week. 2 hours a week to truly be grounded on your commute. What's gonna serve me? I love putting my music on, screaming it, dancing a little bit while I'm driving. I'm being safe though. I'm being safe. Don't worry. But like that idea of, we need to be more present and fulfilling things for ourselves. I think it's just huge. So I encourage you, like, if you're feeling that way too, maybe your commute is the opportunity you take to just like, what's gonna fulfill you today? Is it screaming to a Doja Cat in the car? Maybe that's it. Maybe you're just like, okay, I need to listen to a podcast. Hey, got one right here for you. Or maybe you're like, okay, tonight I'm going to like put a boundary. After this time, no more social media, no more this or that. Like, whatever it is, in this whole hustle culture, we need to take time to just be like, what fulfills us that's not fulfilling other people's cups. And that's so huge. Anyway, that's my rant. So I wanted to also talk about my weekend, because I had such a great weekend. And And I think I'd like to just share my journey this weekend. So I wanted to talk about my weekend because I think it was just like such a really great experience. I'm a firm believer of like you should always try to go on some sort of trip or extended weekend or something where you're with your partner in an unfamiliar territory. So for me, my boyfriend and I have been together for over a year now, and this was the first time we've like done a solo trip, just the two of us, and it was only one day, but we were gone for literally like 14 hours. Um, and we went up to Jim Thorpe for the weekend, so that's about 2 hours outside of Philly, and it was really nice. We went for the Fall Foliage Festival, so that's like they have this historic train in Jim Thorpe that'll take you kind of around the area, and then you get to like see the foliage, see the hiking trails. There's like a tiny waterfall. Just really great, like just like fun, cute shit. That's what we're into these days, I guess. But we'd seen like a whole bunch of like TikToks about the Fall Foliage Festival, and I was like, you know what, we should go. Like we haven't done something like that together. And boy, can I tell you, it was a little intense at some points. So we had gotten up on we were gonna go Saturday, and I was like, we need to go early because I'm sure there's gonna be a ridiculous amount of people parking. Like we don't know what to expect when we get there. So we go and we leave the house right at 9 a.m. and we drive to our favorite little coffee shop, pick up coffee and a pastry to tide us over until we get to Jim Thorpe. So originally from his house, it's only supposed to be like a 45-minute drive. That turned into an hour and a half with the traffic, which was absolutely insane. So we really didn't get to Jim Thorpe till like 11 a.m. Because we ended up finding parking nearby. So I'm like, okay, let's get some parking. And Jim Thorpe is like in the middle of a valley. So we're like in bumper to bumper traffic going down a hill. And finally we like get into the center of town square, and there are a million fucking people. There's music, there's people, there's the train you can see. Like it is everything. Just chaos, absolute chaos. And so while we're in this bumper to bumper traffic, I'm like, we're not finding parking in town. Like we missed that window of opportunity. So now I'm searching like, okay, parking near me. And they have on the Jim Thorpe like railroad website, they have information about where else you can park. And so I put in the directions, and it's like, okay, $20, it's 3 miles away, and then they'll take a shuttle in. I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need. I need a shuttle to take me so I don't have to deal with all these people. Well, the website led us astray, and it was completely in the wrong direction. So we're like driving in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, this cannot be right. Like there's supposed to be a shuttle and parking. So I have my partner pull over, and I'm looking at it, and sure enough, they had 2 addresses listed. So I click the second address, and now it's rerouting us, and it's much closer. And I'm like, okay, this is probably the right address. So we go ahead and we go, he turns the car around, and now we're going right back into all the traffic, turn right, and then we're on this like fucking crazy gravel path, and it was for like a hiking, whitewater rafting, biking sort of establishment. So like it made sense, but I'm thinking, oh my god, we're gonna get fucking murdered today or something. Like something's gonna happen where we're gonna be in the news, right? It's gonna be like 2 couple lost in woods gets eaten by bear or attacked by so and so, right? Like I'm worst case scenario. But we finally like it opens up to this like nice field, and then there's a guy directing traffic, and there were other cars there. So I was like, okay, I feel better that we're actually in the right spot. So we pay for our parking, and then we get on a school bus. And now the school bus is going up this like zigzag gravel path up the mountain. And I'm like, the bus can fucking do this? That's crazy to me. And then the shuttle still drops us off like a mile away from the center of town. So we have to like hike around on a bridge and then go back into the center of town. So it was really just like, it was the best parking we could have gotten, because I'm like, listen, the car is safe in a lot away from everyone else. Like Nothing, your car's not gonna get stolen, nothing like that. Like, it's gonna be fine. So then we stood in line for an hour to get our train ticket. And this line like wrapped around the track, around the center of town. Like, it was literally, I checked my watch. I'm like, we're going to be in here for an hour. And sure enough, by the time we got our ticket, it was an hour later. And I wish I had the tickets to show you, but we left them at his place. But it's this cute little like stub, and it says like the date and time. So we picked like a 2 o'clock train ride. And at this point it was noon by the time we got our ticket. So I'm like, all right, let's walk around town a little bit. And that's where I'm so excited to show you guys. I got some of the cutest stuff ever. The one thing I love so much, and when I travel to a new place, is I try to find a yarn store, right? So when I went to Germany over the summer, and Austria and Italy, the thing I looked for was yarn, because I'm like, okay, a t-shirt, a sticker, that is something I might toss one day, right? Like a t-shirt can only last so long before I'm like, okay, it's worn out, it's too big, too small, whatever it is. So yarn for me is like one of those heirloom pieces that I'm willing to pay a pretty significant price for, knowing I'm going to keep that forever. So I had already looked up a yarn store in Jim Thorpe and knew I was like dead set, we're going there. Like, I need to have an hour. Like, I need to look in there. And so I went to this yarn store called Hooked on Yarn in Jim Thorpe, and it was so adorable. It was this old woman who, like, the store was empty, and when we came in, she was so precious. She was just asking like where we're from, what we're looking for, and my boyfriend was like, this is all her. Like, he's like, I don't do any of this, but this woman was so amazing. She like knew where every yarn came from. She knew everything about like who made it, who dyed it. It got a little bit cumbersome where every time I touched a yarn, she was like, oh, like, let me tell you about this. But I settled on this beautiful golden one, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get it up a little bit closer. It is so stunning, and it is by far the cutest, like, the colorway I'm so obsessed with it. So it's like this golden, it's called Sunset is the colorway, and the yarn is from Blue Sky Fibers. It is 53% Suri alpaca, 47% baby alpaca. It was made in Peru, and then I think it's dyed in the States, but I could be wrong. Let's take another look, because I truly like, the color is stunning. There we go. Ignore my nails, although I did do them, so actually look at them because I'm super proud of them. The colorway is stunning. I could not ask for like a better purchase. And it is only 273 yards, and I thought about buying a second one. But it was $17 a skein, which, okay, for luxury yarn, that's not bad price at all. Honestly, I've bought more expensive yarn, which I'm about to show you. So I bought this. I'm sorry. Let me set myself back up for this. I'm getting way too excited. I gotta calm down. So anyway, I bought this, and I went out the store being like, I have no idea what I'm gonna use it for. It's slightly variegated, but it's got like these gorgeous hues of like goldenrod, mustard yellow. It's really stunning, but I truly had no intention of like knowing what I was gonna use it for. I'm just like, I love it. I'll figure out what I want. And then I remembered I had in my stash a slightly different gold. So in comparison, they are very different colors. However, I think they're going to work up nicely together. So if I can show you that this yarn's from 21 or 29 Bridges Studio. This was a yarn I picked up over the summer, just out and about on travel. But I think what I'm going to do is pair them together, hold them together, and make a pair of socks. Because this is a very loose fiber. It's got a lot of like, not pilling, but it's definitely an alpaca, right? It's a super thin, like, I don't know if you can even see that, but It's super thin and it's got a lot of fluff on it. So I didn't want anything like I knew I was gonna hold it with something eventually. So that's the plan. Is I walked out with a really nice luxurious piece of yarn, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put these two together and make a really nice pair of socks with them, because almost 300 yards is definitely enough to make like a decent two pairs of socks. Like, I should say one pair of socks, two separate socks, right? So a pair. I overcomplicated that, but you know what I'm saying. So I think that's going to be really, really beautiful. And I'm so excited. So that's my thing lately, has been like, again, souvenirs, like magnets, stickers. Over time, I'm inclined to like toss them, right? Or get rid of them. Things I make with my own hands, heirloom pieces, stuff that like no one else can have. That's really what inspires me these days. So let me put this away so that I don't mess with it. So after the yarn store, unfortunately, we did not spend an hour in there. Thankfully, I mean, I allotted a whole hour. I was like, we could be in here an hour, but it was actually a really tiny shop. So I got my yarn, and again, like, yarn's super light, so I just carried it the rest of the day, like it in its little bag in my purse. It was fine. So after we went to the yarn store, we checked out a few other shops, and we're like, we could really grub. I'm hungry, right? And so we decided to go to a food truck right on the main strip. So we crossed the super busy road again, and thankfully they had like stopping guards. So like every minute they would stop all traffic and let everyone cross the different directions, which was super nice. So we crossed over and we like look at these food truck lines, and they're all so busy. But thankfully we found an empanada truck, which was so fucking good, so good. So we only waited like maybe 20 minutes, which was really, really nice. Because a lot of these other places had lines like wrapped around all these different places. So we ended up, I got a spinach artichoke dip empanada, and my boyfriend got a like beef and cheese one. The spinach artichoke dip, I literally think I dreamt about that the next day because it was so fucking good. And then like they put garlic, they like put garlic butter oil after they fried them on top. It was like, I'm sure my breath smelled like garlic the rest of the day, but not my problem because it was so fucking good. But we literally ate it like waiting in line for the train. So the train started boarding at 1:45. We're like waiting in line for the previous train's passengers to unload before we can get on. So we were like scarfing this down, threw out our trash, and then we boarded our train, and it was so pretty. I thought like the foliage could have been a little bit more better. Like it was a little the leaves weren't as pretty as they could have been, is how I'll say. So a lot of like the leaves were yellow, some red, but not like there's still a lot of green. So we probably could have waited another weekend or two to go, but this just worked best for our schedule. So we went obviously when we could have. So we sat in the backwards facing car. So I'm like freshly stuffed with empanadas, sitting backwards, trying not to like get sick, while I'm watching like all of everything pass me in reverse. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Luckily, like I didn't hurl or like throw up or anything, but I felt a bit queasy for a second. But that was fine. Then the train stopped after like 25 minutes, and then it goes right back in the same direction. So we saw everything basically twice, but it was still super pretty. Like the weather, it was like mostly cloudy, and it was like really overcast. And the weather, it was supposed to only rain at 5 o'clock. Well, we get off the train at 3 o'clock. We do a little bit more window shopping. We go back on that main strip of shopping centers. Looking at, I'm like, I really wanted a sticker that said Jim Thorpe. So I got a sticker. I'm really surprised they did not have a lot of like souvenir shops that had like Jim Thorpe branded stuff. A lot of it was like these cute little boutiques that didn't have anything Jim Thorpe related. But then my boyfriend wanted to get some jerky. They had like a jerky shop. So we went and got jerky, and suddenly it starts like not pouring, but it's a significant drizzle happening. So we both look at the clock and we're like, hey, we wanted to leave around between 4 and 5. Like, this is perfect. We spent a whole day here. Let's get back to the car. So we go ahead and we make the pilgrimage to that shuttle stop, literally like a mile out of town. And at this point, like, it is a steady mist happening across this entire, like, my face is all misty, like, that it is miserable out. And like, we had dressed cute, so I'd had on like a turtleneck, a flannel, jeans, not an umbrella or rain jacket in sight. So we really just were like, we had hoped we were gonna miss the rain, but we did not. So we're then standing for the shuttle stop, and like my hair is sopping wet. And like, good thing we got all those cute photos before it got busy, or before it started raining, because like we were gonna look like drowned rats by the end of the day. So we get on the bus takes us to the car, we go to the bathroom again, and then he drives us to the next town over. Had this really cool like Bonnie and Clyde themed restaurant. So we walk in and I'm like shivering at this point. Like, it was a cold rain, we weren't adequately dressed, and they're like, we only have high tops. I'm like, I'll take it. Like, I don't care what you got. I need to be seated in this restaurant. So I ordered like a hot tea, and that really warms me up. And then I got like fish and chips. My boyfriend got like a bacon burger, and then we were leaving, and there was an antique store next to this restaurant, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, oh, like, they're about to close. It's almost 6 o'clock. And the shop owner, he like peeks his head out. He's like, no, guys, like, come on in. Like, it's Saturday. Like, I'll stay open till 7 if need be, if you guys want to look around. So we went in this really huge antique store, looked at some different stuff. I didn't find anything I was super in love with, but we thanked the guy. I was like, hey, thanks so much for like letting us know and letting us come in. We'll keep this place in mind, because it's not super far away. Like, it was a nice antique store, just way out for our budget, and nothing really like stood out to us. But at this point, like, it's miserable raining, and we're like tired from being together all day. Not being together all day, but like, it was not high stress, but lots of things happening where mentally we're just like exhausted. I know he has to drive back in this like terrible weather, and I'm like getting nervous because I hate driving when I don't know where I am and it's like raining, snowing, anything that's not like good conditions, especially at night. So I'm like shitting bricks, and he's like, we're fine, and we made it back safe. So it was all good, but we literally like went to bed at 9 p.m. Like, it was exhausting. But overall, like, super fun day. And again, like, that idea of you should at least try traveling with your partner before like any serious sort of like living together or anything like that, because you need to know who they are when they're in an environment that's not like your normal environment, and you want to know who they are like outside of, like, how do they treat strangers, how do they respond to large crowds, like all this stuff that normal everyday life you're not experiencing is really important to me to know. Like, okay, who are you outside of just our bubble, right? So overall, super fun day. But then we woke up Sunday super late. Like, it was so exhausting, and we just like made breakfast, had brunch, really. Like, we ate breakfast at like 11 a.m. And then I'm like, you know what, we should go thrifting. Like, we had a really great time at the antique store on Saturday night. Like, maybe we should go thrifting. So we went to Goodwill and found an industrial blender, which was really cool. And then I have to show you. I have to actually get it because I did not grab it beforehand, and I should have, but let me go grab it. So I'm about to show you. If you don't know me, probably not, but maybe you do. And if you do, hi, good to see you. So one of my favorite things about living up in Kutztown, where I go to school right now, is the hex signs they have in the area. So hex signs have a big like cultural meaning to people in this area. A lot of times farmers have them on the outside of their barns, and usually you would have like a family crest some sort of symbol or something to let people know, okay, this property is yours. As time has gone on, obviously, hex signs are less needed because you have property lines, things like that. But back in PA German, Pennsylvania Dutch culture, hex signs were really needed in this area to kind of determine where your property was or whose barn belonged to, all that. So ever since I moved to Kutztown, for the past 2 years, I've been collecting hex signs, and I actually found a hex sign in an antique store in Allentown. So not near Kutztown, but a lot of antique stores around here have hex signs and things like that. So this is a nice like 12 by 12, and on the back has the year, so 2002, my birth year. So a lot of things just aligned for this purchase. It was the color scheme, right? Like this really nice green is my favorite color. I love mustard yellows. Like this whole thing is just branded as me. Like it just feels like me. The flowers are super pretty. It's hand painted, and then you can like feel the glaze on top. So really, really nice. And this was $20. Not bad at all. A lot of times what you'll find on the back of hex signs, the hand painted or commercially grade ones, is every year there's like a flower or a theme. So sometimes you'll find when you purchase one, taped on the back of them will be like what the flower symbolized for that year. So although it didn't have that, still a really great find. And this one I'm going to keep for myself. A lot of times I give them to my mom to hang up in the house at home. This one I think I'm going to keep. I just love the color scheme, and it's just like so pretty. It's really just like the colors, the shape, the size, it's all everything I really wanted. So this was a very atypical weekend for me, I'll say. Like we must have dropped like $150 for the whole weekend. Again, very atypical for us, but we had budgeted for that. I mean, I'm a broke ass college student. I only work 10 hours a week. My partner is a full-time employee, but he's still like just started full-time a couple months ago. So we knew we were going to budget for this. And so I knew like, okay, I grabbed all cash and I said, whatever cash I can use to pay for anything, I'll pay cash. So that's what this purchase was. So overall this weekend, super, super great haul. Got my beautiful yarn, a sticker, which is somewhere in this studio / room. Yeah, I just could not ask for like a better experience. It was really fun. And it was just really like a really good reset too. It was something I didn't realize I needed so much until afterwards, where like I came back home on Sunday and I was like, sorry, breakfast is coming back up. I came back on Sunday and I'm like, damn, like that was something I didn't even realize I needed, but it was like so good to just like have a weekend where I didn't have any work, homework, or attending to anyone else's needs. Like it was a very selfish weekend where I'm like, I want to do this. I want to go to this store. I want to do that. And it was just perfect. It was everything I needed. So I think that was the biggest update I had. I really loved everything about like the weekend, and again, just like taking time for myself in ways. And then the other thing I have to share is a project I've been working on. We'll cut that out, maybe not. So I am working on crocheting something. So another way I've been more intentional with my time is like really slowing down and making things from scratch. So obviously I have a lot of plans of like knitting and crocheting and things like that, but life often starts lifing and I have assignments due or things like that. So this is a slow but steady project. This is a baby blanket. And I don't even know if I can fit it in the full frame right now. But this is going to be a baby blanket for my friend. Well, I should say she is my friend, but my partner's friend and his girlfriend are having a baby together. And the baby shower is literally 2 weekends from now. So I found out about the baby shower just a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't know what to get these people. They finally just like uploaded the registry, so like I have information on like what they want, but I'm like, you know what? These people don't have, this couple doesn't have a lot of family in the area, so I didn't think anyone was going to make them a baby blanket. And I really I went home a couple weeks ago, and my mom has a lot of yarn, as most people do. When you're a yarn person, you don't hoard it, but you stash it for future projects, right? So my mom had a lot of like baby yarn, and so I raided her stash. So I got this yarn from my mom, and yeah, this is how much I have left of this skein. So it should be plenty. I have just another skein, but it should be plenty to make a nice size baby blanket for when this child is a newborn. And they know they're having a boy, so I went ahead and went with a blue because they requested lots of like baby boy related things on their registry, so I figured that would be okay to make them something with a little bit of blue. But it's got a lot of browns, and like it's not super blue focused, but that's what I've been working on lately, just to try to like every night I try to get in a couple of rows while I can, because it's obviously the shower's in 2 weekends from now, so I gotta get crack-a-lackin' on that. And yeah, I think they'll love it. Hopefully I'll get a photo or some footage of the couple unwrapping the blanket, and to see it. And maybe they'll take a photo with the baby. The baby's due in February, so if for some reason I couldn't get this finished in time, I definitely could give it to them later, but I think I'll be able to get it done in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm pretty dedicated. That's the only thing I've got on my hook and needles right now, is I've dedicated all project time to that. So yeah, that's everything I've got. What crazy, it wasn't even crazy. Like, it was really relaxing, but I mean crazy in terms of like life is happening at such a fast pace right now. And October, like, we're almost halfway through it, and I'm like, Jesus, like, where did the time go? I could not tell you. So if you like what you heard, saw, watched, all of that, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, all those things. It would mean the world to me, so I know that you're enjoying what you are viewing, and let me know what kind of content you want more of. Do you want me talking more about being burnt out and like how I'm reclaiming my time and space? Do you want to hear more about my weekend adventures? Do you want to hear more about what I'm picking up, what my millions of hobbies are, and like what I'm doing with these things? Let me know. Also, feel free to tell me what you don't like. If there's a segment and you're like, I hated that, also good feedback. So all that to say, I can't wait to tune in with you guys next time. Stay safe. Have a blast this week, and we'll catch up soon. Bye.